Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back again to Vanzi channel. Today I will give you another list of recommended games that you can play on the Gamefusion emulator using a Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 Android device. Most of the following games use the Adreno 762 driver and system driver, and of course there will be a few games that experience graphic bugs and low FEPs. You will also need additional settings to run the following games, such as using Wine and others. Okay guys, no more talking, let's begin. First, Need for Speed. Most Wanted 2012. This Most Wanted 2012 game runs quite well with frames per second above 15. This shows that the performance of Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 is in a different class. 2. Assassin's Creed Rogue. Assassin's Creed Rogue is one of the best stealth kill games that you can play on Winlator or Gamefusion on your Android device. 3. Hitman Absolution. Use the recommended resolution of 600p and DXVK 1.10.3 to run this game well. You can also use the driver system or Adreno 762. 4. Resident Evil 7. You can play this Biohazard game with frames per second below 20. Sometimes there will be a significant decrease in this Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 processor. 5. Resident Evil 3 Remake. Resident Evil 3 Remake is a tough game to play on this processor. Even high-end processors can only play it with frames per second below 30. 6. GTA 4. Now you can definitely play one of Rockstar's legendary games with frames per second that is almost playable. Just use some of the settings below to run this game more stable. 7. GTA 5. By using the Adreno 762.10 and DXVK 2.3.1 drivers, this game runs quite well and stably with FPS above 10. Don't forget to also lower the resolution to 600p. 8. Mortal Kombat XL. As you can see, this game is still not stable enough for you to play on this processor. If you have suggestions for more stable settings, please comment. 9. Tomb Raider 2013. Prepare yourself for an adventure with Lara, exploring the island and surviving various obstacles and traps. 10. MiSide. This survival horror game certainly also runs quite smoothly on this Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 processor. Use some of the settings suggestions below. 11. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Just like the previous list, this Kakarot game also runs very well when played on Gamefusion. Just use system driver and DXVK 1.10.3. 12. Devil May Cry 4. The following gameplay is still not stable enough when fighting in an open area outdoors. Use low graphics settings and some others in the game. 13. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Use Adreno 672 and DXVK 2.3.1 drivers to run this game. You may also need other advanced settings in the game. 14. Sleeping Dog Definitive Edition. The Sleeping Dog game is still not smooth enough to be played on this Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 processor, even in open areas when fighting. 15. Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs is also one of the games that is quite heavy to play when using the 762 driver. You can try the system driver if you feel it is not stable. 16. Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4 is one of the most interesting open-world games that you should play it. However, this game is not good enough to be played on this processor. 17. Tekken 7. The following gameplay uses 480p or 600p resolution. I recommend using the drivers and DXVK below to play it on this processor, with stable FPS. 18. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. This game has graphic bugs and unplayable gameplay. When using Adreno 762, use system driver to fix the graphics. 19. Sniper Elite 2 Remastered. Sniper Elite 2 is a third-person tactical shooter that emphasizes a less direct approach to combat, encouraging players to use stealth. 20. Devil May Cry 5. This game is quite popular now among emulator players, especially Winlator emulator and Gamefusion. However, this game is not playable to play on this chip. 21. Dying Light. Use system driver and DXVK 1.10.3 to run this Dying Light game quite stably on this Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 processor. 22. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. As you can see, this game can't run well with frames per second below 10. If you have better settings, let us know in the comments section. 23. Battlefield Bad Company 2. Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 processor is capable of running this cool game with better and stable FPS performance. Use the recommended settings below. 24. Mad Max. Mad Max game is also able to run on this processor with minimal graphic bugs or glitches. Use the recommended settings below. 25. Zombie Army Trilogy. Set in an alternate end of World War II where Adolf Hitler decides instead of ending it all, just unleashes a zombie horde among the masses of Europe. 26. Yakuza Kiwami. This is one of the coolest Yakuza games I've ever tried on Gamehub using my Android device. The game runs pretty well. 27. Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0 is not yet playable smoothly on this Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 processor. Some of the settings below may help to increase its performance. 28. Little Nightmares 2. It's a suspense-adventure game in which you play as Mono, a young boy trapped in a world that has been distorted by the humming transmission. 29. Metro 2033 Redux. By using the 672 driver and DXVK 1.103, this game is able to run quite well on this Snapdragon 7 Gen 3. Also use 480 resolution. Final list. Dead Space 3. This game should run very well on this processor. Some additional settings you may want to apply besides those shown below. Okay. Those are some of the games that you can play on Gamefusion using devices that have Snapdragon 7 Gen 3. With this, you can choose which games you will try and which games are still not worth trying. So far, Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 can only run games using driver 672.10 and system drivers. Okay, if you find this video useful, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Van Z channel. Okay guys, see you next time. Bye.